Well, uh, once again, I forgot to turn on the camera when I was in the middle of writing process for this song, but I do have some news for you. This album is done. Uh, uh, I started it on May 22nd, I do believe, and it is now June 9th. It has been 2.5 weeks, so 2.5 weeks. There was only one track I went back to fix things up a little bit and kind of, you know, yeah, fix it up. But it's done. And yeah. Oh, fuck. I blew past my fucking goal. I was hoping to get one song done a day, but which is in the start it wasn't so much true. It took me 1.5 2 days to finish a song, start and finish. But as things started to progress and move along, it started to be one song a day, and that includes getting my vocal take as well. My first, generally I've got the vocal takes on the first pass through, so during those sessions. So yeah, this challenge was meant to be a month-long challenge. Start and finish an album in a month. My thinking when I started it was that I wanted to get the songs out as quickly as possible, and then if I need to tweak anything afterwards, then that's what I would do, which is kind of what I did. I actually expected it to take me a month, but it didn't, and it took me 2.5 weeks. Oh, you wouldn't believe how happy I am. I can't, like, yeah, this challenge, fuck. Yes, I met the challenge. I fucking truncated it into 2.5 weeks rather than a month-long challenge unexpectedly. Yes. All that's left, obviously, is mixing and mastering, but that I'm not considering a part of this challenge. That is not part of the writing process. The songs are done, just not mixed and mastered, and I'm not considering mixing and mastering a part of the challenge. But yeah. Fuck. Yes. Yeah, I can't. I will say I can't believe I fucking did this. I wasn't even sure I was gonna be able to make a month in this challenge. I was actually uncertain. I was figuring that I may actually fail this challenge, but obviously I didn't, and and things were done in fucking 2.5 weeks. So oh yeah, I will say, if I haven't mentioned it already, this album has 15 tracks. Yeah, 15 tracks. And yeah, 15 tracks. I think I have a name for it. It's gonna be called Darkness Rise, I think, but I'm not sure. I'm still rolling it around in my head because I'm not sure if that really sticks out and creates a vision in a person's head. I have already passed it by a friend as far as what just to see what she thought of the name, and what pops in her head, the first thing that pops in her head when she thinks of the name. I will say I did have this album name long time ago. The idea came to me a long time ago, and after I can't remember how far I was in the process with the album Data Bomb, but at some point in the process of writing Data Bomb, I might have actually had this idea to do this challenge somewhere near the end of the process for the Block, the Stream, and the Key, but I don't think so. It was somewhere in the process of writing Data Bomb. And where was I going with this? I had the name for several years for this album, if I stick with it, but I've had it for several years, and the challenge came to me that I would do the challenge, I think, probably somewhere in probably the middle of the process of Data Bomb, writing Data Bomb. And yeah, there was also another challenge that I have in mind that I was going to do as well, but I'm not going to get into that now because that's not for this. This is all about Darkness Rise. Yeah. Oh fuck. I was my hope was to finish it in a month's time. I did it in 2.5 weeks. I will say also, yes, Trent Reznor is my idol. I love Nine Inch Nails is my favorite band of all time, and I know their album The Slip was a 3-week process for Trent and whoever he worked with, and I don't know, that I was wanting to get the album done in a month, and I got it done in 2.5 weeks. So I did something that I don't know. I'm not saying that. It's an achievement, I guess. An achievement that I never thought I would be able to. Well, that's the whole point of it, is that you're trying to meet the challenge, right? But I wasn't sure I was going to make it, but fuck. Yeah. So this whole process has definitely been a learning process. One of the things about this whole challenge was that I was going to utilize my synth for the majority of my Yamaha EX7 for the majority of the sound design and sound creation, outside of a couple of things, which are the drums and the guitars. Both the drums and the guitars, I use samples. Obviously, I made an exception for both of them because technically my synth is a sample-based synthesizer, so I would be fucking loading drum samples into my synthesizer, and I just decided to circumvent that, and not circumvent, but I decided just to use drum samples and program them in the digital audio workstation that I use. And the guitars, I was gonna play all the guitars, but like I said in a previous video, I don't know if you'll see it in the same video, the guitars, I was gonna play them, but when it came time to write guitar parts and for the first song that I was gonna start doing guitar stuff on, my guitar decided to not fucking work anymore, and I was gonna try repairing it, but I took a look at all the internals, and there was nothing disconnected or nothing. Everything seemed to be connected and soldered and stuff like that. And I messed around with the volume pot and the pickup selector, whatever you want to fucking call that. I don't know what to call it right now. I messed around with those. I got a little bit of volume, but it was so fucking minimal that I was just like, not doing this. I gotta do something different. So I was a little concerned I'd have to buy a new guitar and have to wait for that, and then the whole thing would be all fucked up, and I'd have to, yeah. But I decided to use guitar samples, stuff that I found online, royalty-free, Creative Commons type stuff, stuff that I wouldn't have to pay for, just stuff that was free to use, and use in whatever fashion that I wanted to. And that's kind of what it is. I also, it's kind of funny because later on in the process of writing this album, I was going through old sample banks that I had created of guitars that I had actually written and played, and there is a shit ton, and there's a shit ton of guitar stuff that I've never used. So I was like, hey, I can use this. So looking back on that, I'm glad I fucking did that, because now I have guitar parts that I actually played and sampled that I've utilized in some of these songs on this album. So yeah, so that was the parameter. The parameters were do it within a month's time, and strictly utilize my synthesizer. I did use some presets, but there was a lot of stuff that I created on my own as well. Generally, I've used stuff that I hadn't used before. Regarding my synthesizer, there was like one or two things that I used that I had used before, but it's stuff that was kind of like, well, why would I go and create something like this again? So there had to be a reason for using stuff that I used before. Like, it was consistently something that I had used that made sense for the songs. And yeah, so create everything with my synthesizer, guitar samples and drum samples and drum loops, and that is it. Oh god. Yeah, you don't know how good I feel right now. This challenge, it has been a lot of fun. Learning experience. I love working with my synthesizer. I love, tweaking sounds. I love the sound design. I love, when I first started this challenge, I was a little nervous because, or just before I started the challenge, I was a little nervous because I hadn't actually touched my synthesizer in 10 months, and then I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to create the sounds quickly enough and I wouldn't meet the challenge. But after making the first couple of sounds with it, the first couple of patches and sounds with it, it was like, yeah, I remember this now. I remember the architecture. There's some small details that I wasn't too sure on, but it was like, it's stuff that I wasn't even using anyway. So it's like, nothing stuff that I wasn't worried about. So, and even if looking back on that, and if I had to use those features, it wouldn't be too hard to figure it out anyway, because ultimately I'm listening to what I'm doing, right? So yeah, anyway, yeah, moving forward for every single album after this, I will be strictly using my synthesizer and maybe my Yamaha DX100. Both the Yamaha EX7 and the DX100 I will be utilizing strictly. I'll strictly be utilizing them for my albums in the future. I won't be using any fucking VST or any VST or anything like that, because it's not fun, it's not inspiring, and I don't know, it's boring to me. So moving forward, I will be utilizing my synths strictly, and obviously I have a new live rig, a new laptop, and a new MIDI keyboard to go along with that rig. And the reason why I chose to do that is because it's quick and easy to set up and tear down. It's also because I've got these upgrades now with my synthesizer. If you've watched any of my past videos of talking about my upgrades and my decision to upgrade the live performance setup the way I did, you would know that because of the upgrades I got for my hardware synthesizer, there is no mounting on the inside of the synth for this particular upgrade that I got, and so I just kind of pitched it into the synth and just put it in nicely and just left it where it is. Basically, it's an SD card reader, and it's an aftermarket upgrade, and quite frankly, I just didn't want to take my synth out and have the SD card jostle out of the reader because it's sitting inside my synth, and then having me every fucking show I do open up the fucking synthesizer and have to find the SD card, if I can fucking find it, if it's not lost somewhere in the internals, and then place it back into the synthesizer. And I just don't want to do that because it's a lot of work, and quite frankly, I don't want to fuck around, like what if I don't find the card and all that kind of shit. So not fucking around. So I got a MIDI keyboard, and I replaced my old laptop, and I'm using, what I'm actually doing is I'm not using VSTs for the synth sounds for my live rig. I'm actually using a sample player. So what I did was for the songs that I do have on my laptop, I loaded in a bunch of samples for all the songs, and moving forward I'll be doing that as well. And then I imported those samples into the sample playing VST, and assign them to keys and all that kind of stuff, and tweak things here and there, filter cutoffs and stuff like that, and mod wheel stuff and all that kind of stuff, and sampled my hardware synth, got all the sounds that I want to utilize from my synth into the laptop. I sampled everything, and threw them into a sample player, and that's loaded the sample player into the songs that I want to play the samples in, and that's the way it rolls, and that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I have been doing it for the live streams that I have done, and that's what live shows are going to look like in the future, because like I said, don't want to fuck around with my synthesizer, don't want to fuck around with the SD card that's sitting inside of it now, and yep, that's just the way it's gonna roll. So so the live rig is a little different than the recording rig, but I'm okay with that. And the live rig is portable, more portable. I can pack everything into a bag and throw it on my back. And the only thing that would not, the only other thing that I'd really be carrying is, well, either a bag, another bag, and my stand, but it's not like a 30-pound synthesizer either. So it's a stand that I can quickly pack up and set up, and this kit is quite easy to set up as well. It's, max 10 minutes, so that's good too. I don't want to be fucking around with shit. I just want to set it up, have everything ready to go, and just play the show, or be ready to play when we're needed to play. So that's kind of the shit. And yep, that's it. I don't know why I got into the live rig there, but that's, I guess now. So you know what I'm doing with the live rig. And yep, that's kind of how I'm feeling. I don't want to use like I said, don't want to use soft synths, and the process was fun. It made me think in different ways. It made me decide on things that I wasn't certain about a lot quicker. As far as the results, I mean, I think it turned out the way I wanted it to. It's definitely a lot more raw, because I didn't have a lot of time to fuck around with I don't really have the luxury of time, like I gave this I decided to stop writing whenever I stopped finished writing Data Bomb. I didn't want to start anything new, because I wanted to do this challenge, and I wanted to take an album from concept to completion within a month. But which is cool. I did it, but during this process I was realizing, like, I don't have the luxury of time, and I should continue to write as often as possible, because it means I get shit out quicker, at least when I'm taking the time to actually work on stuff. I'm thankful that I did wait a little bit before I started writing again, because I had no idea that this whole pandemic thing was gonna happen. Obviously nobody fucking did, and because I waited, I had some thoughts of musical direction I was gonna go when I was originally thinking about this next thing, Darkness Rise. But because I waited, the ideas actually started to change, and the sound changed, because being that we had to go into isolation, we had to self-isolate and social distance, my feelings and my mental state changed, obviously. I mean, everybody's did. But it made me rethink what I had originally thought this was going to sound like, and change it, because I felt like actually, out of all honesty, I thought I kind of feel a little bit motivated by the isolation, because it obviously it made me think differently, and you got to do things a little differently, because it's you're not maintaining your mental health in the same way. You're not maintaining your, it's not like, oh, I can go and hug my friends now, and it's like, no, no hugs, no physical contact. You're not seeing family, you're not seeing friends. If you are seeing them, it's usually a video chat, and it's, that whole thing. So it, at least for me, it changed my mental state changed. Not bad. It's not like it's a unhealthy mental state. It changed, uh, and I guess in a way, I almost wanted to be isolated, because it was actually like when I was thinking about this whole challenge, it actually changed my inspiration, and it changed the way I wanted to present my music in the live spectrum. Like, I know I've gone into this a little bit in some of my other videos, but uh, the ultimate payoff for me is the live show, and uh, that for me is what I truly want to do, is perform live. And yes, the music's important. You can't have a live show without music. Yes, like, music is a part of it. The writing and recording is a part of it, but for me the payoff is the live show. Like, that's my ultimate end goal. And when I'm writing, I'm thinking of performance aspects of the live show. And I'm thinking of performance aspects of the live show, and how I can perform it while I'm writing it. And yeah, that's just kind of how I go about writing my stuff. And I even my recorded stuff, like, I'm not like, I it's written in the sense that it's almost like a live performance in a sense. So it obviously changed my thinking on how I wanted to present this, and ultimately changed the sound design and all that kind of stuff. And out of all honesty, I can't wait to perform this stuff live, because it's gonna be a lot of fun. So not that the other stuff that I've written, not the Data Bomb, isn't fun. None of, like, it's all fun, but this to me is like, it's a change. What I walked out with this whole challenge is, it's changed my thinking around my writing process. It's been a learning process, but it was fun. And it's changed my thinking about the live shows, how I perform them, or want to perform them, even for current stuff. Like I'm thinking of other performance aspects I can add or replace, or all that stuff. So fuck. Do I celebrate, or do I wait until the album is released and celebrate then? Don't know. I got shit I gotta do tonight anyway, but fuck. Well, I can't wait till you folks hear this. So I think I'm gonna end the video here. Loving this shit. So yep, that's it for this video. See you in the next one.